Welcome to another video where you and I are trying to reach our financial goal, and the way to do that is buying nothing. I made a video about the 5 things that I don't buy or that I stop buying. In this video I want to talk about the 5 things that I actually do spend money on, and sometimes I do spend money on these things even though I cannot actually afford them. Don't tell anyone. I'm gonna admit it, I'm 29 and I have never saved $10,000 or euros or francs for that matter. This is the first time at 29 that I'm saving this amount of money, and it's ridiculous. But I also realized when I look around me that most people actually don't have $10,000 just sitting on their bank account. In Switzerland, this is much more common, and I met a couple people this last year where they have hundreds of thousands on their bank account, and when they lose their job, they're like, oh, it doesn't really matter. I don't need to work for 2 or 3 years if I don't want to. I'm like, good for you. That's amazing. So we're gonna get there. You and I, we're broke people, but we're not gonna be broke forever. And therefore we stop buying things that we don't need. And in this video, I want to share a couple of things that I think are really worth the money. And if you sum it up, some of these are inevitable and there's things that you have to spend money on. But I think these things are just worth it. So the last one is, it's really just 5 things that I came up with that I spent money on. And the last one is my favorite, but maybe it's a little controversial. We will see. The first one is the obvious one, and it's food. You cannot not go without food. You cannot go without food, and therefore I think food really is worth spending money on, especially good food, or the eggs that are from happy chickens instead of the ones that are sad. That I think it's worth spending $1 or 2 more rather than eating things that it's not good. Also, the food that I buy is much more fresh and I can do things myself rather than buying finished products that you just have to heat up or whatever. Not cool. Not cool, we're not doing that. Food, apparently we cannot live without. Yeah. Number 2 is fixed costs. So we have rent and we have bills to pay. Unfortunately, we have insurances, and those are the things that, inevitable. You have problems if you don't pay them, and that's a thing that I spend my money on. But what I did do is you can decrease some of those fixed costs that you have to pay for. So for example, I rent this apartment myself. It has 2 rooms and I rent out one of the rooms, and my roommate pays half the rent or a little bit more. If it's already with furniture, for example, you can charge a bit more. Under legal terms, you can pay half the rent if you want to, and if you're willing to sacrifice a year or 2 of maybe being a little bit uncomfortable. It really depends on your roomie. It can be really fun and really chill as well. If you get a cool roomie, you're lucky, but also you just don't have to pay that much rent. Another thing is insurances. For example, maybe you can call them and ask for options how you can decrease the cost for the insurance. Another thing that I did by the end of the year, I texted my insurance and I was like, hey, I didn't use this insurance. I didn't go to the doctor for an entire year. Can I get some cash back? Unfortunately, that was not the case, but maybe you can text your insurance and maybe you will get some cash back. It's always worth a try. Number 4 is travel and transportation. I have a motorcycle, if you didn't know that. And it's probably the cheapest way to go out and travel and, see places without spending much money. Once you have a motorcycle and you have the license, which I don't. Another thing that I'm going to be spending money on this year, I need to get the license for the motorcycle, but I can still ride it in this country. Maybe if you have a super expensive car, you can sell it, you can buy a cheaper car, or maybe you can get around without a car if using public transfer is cheaper. Usually it's not, I'll be real with you. I have a half fare here in Switzerland. Train tickets in Switzerland are ridiculously expensive. Unfortunately, sometimes when I go visit family or whatever, I have to pay these bills. Transportation and travel is something that I spend money on, and with the motorcycle, it's really cheap to travel. And also, I bought a tent last year, the things that you need to go camping. that was a one-time investment, and now when I go traveling, it's the cheapest possible way to go traveling with a motorcycle. The gas is so little. I go in campgrounds where sometimes you have to pay, but then you can also maybe take a shower, but that's just really the cheapest way to travel. And this year I decided I'm probably not gonna fly somewhere, even though you can find really cheap flights within Europe to see places and travel around, but I decided I'll just stick to the motorcycle and the camping for this year, and then afterwards I might go some other places. We will see. Okay, another one is experiences. There were 2 experiences that I spent money on last month where I think it was not necessary, but it was so worth it for me, and so I really want to say yes to experiences. So one experience was going snowboarding with a random Tinder guy, and it was really fun, it was cool, but just this one day cost me over 100 francs. I also had to get some of the snowboarding equipment that I was missing. I spent like 200 francs just for one day, but for me it was worth it because I want to say yes to experiences, and that's a day that I will remember for maybe forever. We will see. Another thing was I went to this concert of my favorite movie. So I drove 2.5 hours to another city to watch my favorite movie, but the soundtrack of the movie was played by a live orchestra, and that was just, I will tell you, it was amazing. It was so cool. And that event, only that event, cost me over 100 francs for one evening, but like, was it worth it? Yeah, it was. Those are a couple things that I would do again, that I want to do in the future, that are worth my money. And sometimes maybe I have to eat pasta for a week to reach my financial goals, even though I have experiences like that. But for me, it's super worth it. And for example, this year I'm gonna go see Mike Rife. So I got a ticket for that, and I'm really excited about that one, and that I think is just worth my money when I have these events that I can look back on. So the last one is people. I think whenever people ask you out or ask you to go have coffee or to have breakfast or whatever it is, I think it's worth spending time with people and spending those $20 on a breakfast or 30 or a night out. And that for me is very much worth my money, and I'm not gonna be greedy and be like, oh, I'm not coming to this event because I want to save money and like I don't have money for this. Money should never be the reason to not do something. For me, it's really about evaluating what's worth it for me. If someone asks me out for a coffee, I'm not gonna be like, I don't have that money. I would go there and spend the money on this and happily spend it, even if it means that I'm gonna eat pasta or have to bake my own bread or whatever it is, because I think that's just worth it. And same with every time I go to see my family, it's 20 francs, and I'm like, you know what? If they invite me, I will go, and if I can get around it and save some more money, that's fine. I'll just stay home and maybe do more activities in my area. So if you're looking for a couple things to do that cost very little money but you still want to have a life, I made this video where I share a couple hobby ideas that cost no money or very little, and you can have a life and still reach your financial goals. And I hope this inspired you to really sit down and think about what is important for you. Is it the thing that you buy, or is it your financial goal? Is it spending time with people that you love, or is it your financial goal? For me, it was really important to set my values right and not be greedy when it comes to other people, and be more greedy when it comes to just myself or other things that I can spend money on and not buy things. I also hope this inspires you to buy less stuff that you really don't need to reach your financial goal in 2026. Da, 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 da. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you soon. It was probably